Okay, group marriage. Let me get rid of the glare here. Okay, what I mean by group marriage is a realistic survival unit for the times. Now, most people, or a lot of people, I'll say, try to hook up one on one forever and ever, and if it doesn't work, they figure it's the wrong person and they just keep trying it again with different people. Uh, when maybe it's the actual trip itself in these times doesn't work like when everybody lived on farms and in the country and worked together as a survival unit uh, before there were social services and you know easy transportation and cars and distance and all that. Uh, One-on-one worked a lot better than it does now. Uh, it makes sense, economically, socially, environmentally, personally, and sexually. When you have everything you need, whether it's 3 or 5 or 9 people together, and it's a unit, uh, it it just gives everybody more time and a better chance. As all the politicians are promising they can get us back to the 1950s faster than the other guys, but meanwhile everything's being cut and sliced and redone. So you kind of have to be prepared. Uh, and if you have it without the marriage aspect of the group, then you're just roommates or like an old lame sitcom or something on TV. Where they have the group situation, but take out the sex and oh, isn't that funny? But in real life, it doesn't work so well. Like in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, there was very little sex or pleasure or anything thought about. It was just two people, and that was accepted as the way of being. And people would get married over and over again, and it sometimes end up in divorce court, and sometimes murder suicide. But it was the only game in town. And then in the 1950s, uh, along comes Betty Page and Bridget Bardot and Hugh Hefner and Playboy magazine and rock and roll, and everybody starts, whoa, what is this I'm feeling? Ooh, ooh, you know, and actually thinking about things other than nothing. And so then 1960, along comes the birth control pill, just as the first of the baby boomers are hitting high school age. And for the next 25 years, everybody was just doing it with everybody. I mean, it was wide open, seeing what worked. There was as many couples out looking for somebody to bring home for the night as there were singles. And there was clubs where people would pay couples or single women, or like the Sexual Freedom League would give orgies and sell tickets, couples and single women. And people were living together like in the hippie families where they have a group of people that would live together for years and be together, go to concerts together, have sex together. There are different ways, whatever worked for whichever group. And it can't be quite as loose as that now, like with the back in the 70s with the Berkeley Barb and the underground newspapers having just pages of people advertising for sex, what they're looking for, what they want. leaving their phone number. I mean, it was all out front, nothing secret or anything like has to be done if you're a TV preacher or politician or something. You gotta sneak and lie, but otherwise people were just out front about it. Hey, this is okay. Now it can't be quite that loose, but it can be done in a group. Just like as an example, if you have 5 people in a town that are sexually connected, but they're all paying 5 different rents and 5 different cars and 5 different phone bills and all that, and if they move in together, it just makes it easier. And it can't be like roommates with everybody paying, the same every month or whatever. It's got to be a unit working together different ways for survival and a better life. I first started thinking about doing this video last fall, October or so, when I heard that more and more, besides more and more young people moving back in with their parents, a lot of them were college graduates that, because of the economy and all, moving back with their parents, or people with, any less than satisfactory living arrangement, whether it's roommates or not having roommates or whatever, just or living under a bridge, even whatever. I mean, just something for the times that might work. I first got into the trip of, or out of the trip of the one-on-one forever and ever when I was in my early 20s in the 60s, when this new girlfriend I had, she had been coming over, spending, 2 or 3 nights a week with me in my house, and it was just getting better and better. We'd gone to a couple rock concerts, and we're having a great time. When one Thursday, she says to me, this guy I was dating got busted last year for weed and is just getting out of jail, or just got out of jail, and he's going to be house sitting this house up in the hills, this weekend, and he wants me to come and spend the weekend with him and another guy, and I'll be back on Monday. And could you give us, the 3 of us, a ride up there tomorrow afternoon? And besides it being the first time I've ever had anybody be so honest with me about something like that, it just made me like her more. I mean, it just, so open and out front about it. And I'm not saying anything wrong. Not, well, I'm going to go spend the weekend with my sister or anything. I mean, just, and like I knew 2 couples that were both, just a second. That were both together, living about a mile apart in the same small town, and they, or small city actually, and a couple times a month, the women would both go out and spend the night with a different guy, not together or anything, just on their own, whatever their schedule was. And once or twice a month, the 2 guys would get it on together. And it was all open, out front, everything. But they had 2 houses, and if they'd have moved into one, it could have saved them a lot of money and all. But it's what works for people. There's a movie with Anthony Quinn back in 1960 came out, called The Savage Innocents, about Eskimos, and Anthony Quinn's this young single Eskimo, and he goes to his little older married Eskimo friend, and the friend invites Anthony Quinn to have sex with his wife, he says, "Yeah, a little change puts a little twinkle in her eye every once in a while." I mean, it can work for people, and I just think it's a possibility people could consider right now. Is there either in sexual connection groups or just what they would if they could with people, or just keep it as a possibility, as an option in their day-to-day life as they're looking for a trip together. I knew this one gal. She was a 19-year-old divorcee, and she moved to a new town, and she met these two guys that knew each other, but uh, weren't like real good friends or anything. But she started, getting to know both of them at different times, and she says if I could just take Jerry's brain and put it in Randy's body, I'd have the perfect man. But since that can't be done a lot of times, the answer for her was the two guys, and they fulfilled her more than either one of them alone. There was a thing on TV a few weeks ago, afternoon news magazine show, where they were going to have two men living with one woman. On the show, I didn't see it, but I saw that it was going to be on a couple times. I thought that was a great thing that it made it to TV as a possibility. And, you know, it just seems to make more sense if there's a group of people working together, and you're sexually satisfied without all this, he cheated, she cheated, or wondering, it took her a long time to get those groceries, and all that stuff in your brain, and your ego connected 100% with each other, you know. And I just think for people at this time, it would work. Another thing I want to add, that for anybody out of work or single, or with somebody, whatever, if you like to cook and you have a driver's license, there is a great need for you in the world. Uh, Cook drivers are, wanted on all levels, from agencies that hook people up to putting a handwritten sign on a bulletin board at the health food store or something. I mean, I just over the years I've run into that time and again, and you can have live in or live out or whatever works for you. You can set up a schedule. It's a alternative to moving back with your parents, or you know any unsatisfying or unsatisfactory situation. But anyway, uh, I just think people should, no matter what the future holds, should be having a good time, because it's their life that's going by. And one person, sexually or spiritually or any other way, for all time, just is a hard road to go, and doesn't have to be. And okay, that's my thought for the day, or whatever. Where am I here? Okay.